wow. How's it feel?
Not comfortable.
Yeah, it looks uncomfortable.
It's not comfortable.
Then it's
Just do like one shot of you doing
Yeah, that's
the
it. That's what I was
squinty
gonna
thing,
do.
and then use that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so great. Hey, Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man in China. Will that get me in trouble?
It's Robert De Niro, remember?
Oh, you talking to me? Huh? You Venom? Huh? You got great responsibility? Huh? I don't see anybody else here. Huh? You talking to me? Huh?
Hello and welcome to Secret Identity. My name is Brent. Peter Parker is my favorite hero, and don't tell me otherwise, Birnbaum. Joined by my co-hosts.
I'm Troy Bond. I usually say Brent's name when I do his intro, and he forgot mine, which is nice because I thought we were friends. I also got into an accident and am too vain to show that I have a scar on my nose, so I'm wearing this mask as a sex thing.
No relation to the car accident.
I didn't get hit by a car.
And that was Slater Harrison.
It wasn't Spidey senses. It was a panic attack.
Brent is still trying to intro.
That was fantastic. Honestly, for first intro, 10 out of 10.
Van Forstic, second intro,
Great
actually.
work.
But we don't count Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, yeah. Well, the judge said you can't. Today, we are discussing Spider-Man life story. It's... if you're a Spidey fan, which, let's be honest, he's the most famous he's the superhero. Mm-hmm. There's no other superhero that's more recognizable or anybody could see themselves in as Spider-Man. Why? Who'd you argue?
Spider-Man's my favorite hero. I think he's probably the third most recognizable hero, though.
Who else?
I think if you went to
Superman?
Yeah, I think if you went to some person that's never seen anything in pop culture and you said name a hero, they'd probably say
Superman. A real stupid guy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, your words, not my words.
Yeah, so no, who would you say is two?
Batman.
You think Batman's more recognizable than Spider-Man?
I think so. I think it's close. I think it's those three are.
I'm not arguing. I'm just I want to know why.
I would say Spider-Man and Batman are probably similar levels. I think Superman is so iconic, though. What
makes Superman more iconic than Batman and Spider-Man?
I think it's the longevity. I think it's the fact that he's the first hero, and it's also just that name, Superman.
That is the dumbest superhero name.
It's a terrible name, absolutely.
Superman. So I recommended this week's book, Spider-Man Life Story. What is the Bentectal?
The eyes.
What?
It's just the mask looks funny.
You look like in Ted when they put the bear back together, and he's like.
I was thinking
You fell off Funway, man.
Spider-Man Life Story, which is it's a 6-issue limited comic series by a guy named Chad Zdarsky.
Chip Zdarsky.
Chip Zdarsky. Thank you. And Mark Bagley, our boy.
Literally, I don't think there's a Spider-Man artist I like more than Mark Bagley.
Even the hentai ones?
I mean, Mark Bagley has his own brand of hentai.
Oh, that's a whole other way he's shooting. And there ain't no shadows. And this story, though, why I think we both say it's the best Spider-Man stories because it pretty much reimagines the life of Peter Parker. And it's... to your point where you're always asking, when in the continuity does this happen? Is there a continuity? What's going on with this? This is telling the story, reliving the life of Peter as if he is aging as Spider-Man in real time, starting from his debut, which was in 1962. Mm-hmm. And the series goes into Spider-Man's life and the world around him. Yeah. And if each decade aligned with the actual events going on in the world and the run that was going on with him at the time. right? That's pretty much if I had to summarize it.
When I saw
Incorporating real world history and Marvel events. Sorry.
Yeah. No, when I saw 2019, I was like, whoa, this is trippy.
Yeah, right?
When I was a kid, I used to think DC was rooted in realism, but Marvel incorporates cities like Manhattan, incorporates real life places to make you feel like it's something that could be happening outside, which is why people love Spider-Man, because his mask covers his whole face, so anybody feels like they could be Spider-Man underneath. That's why Batman was delayed so many times, because Batman mask, Shrek, his mask would cover half his face. You see, Spider-Man ain't get no cover because Spider-Man, his mask cover his face.
You think you would know, though? You think you would know who the person is based on just this?
No.
Well,
you want to know it was me?
Unless you heard him talk.
It depends on the type of mask, I think. With Batman, that's why he hides his voice. That's a great point.
Yeah, well, Batman's tan line should be a big giveaway.
Yes.
I would know your mouth.
You know my mouth. It makes faces like this.
She also watches this podcast zoomed in at like 20 times 22, so it's only mouths.
I know. I walked into this apartment and Slater just zoomed in on my mouth, and I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Nothing." Business.
I'm definitely not trying to figure out what tooth I want to punch out later.
This is my special camera. I only have footage of Brent's mouth, and I like to watch it.
I was wondering how I ended up on
He's
Wiki
waited
Mouth.
for a woman to say that on camera for so long.
Not under duress.
I know that mouth.
Without
I know
a gun.
that mouth anywhere.
This was I love most of your. I love all of your comic book recommendations.
Yeah, careful, Morty. You might dislocate your elbow jacking me off.
Yo, what was that about Jack and
Oh,
Charles?
jeez, he's back. Like I loved Grease, but like every time I say, jack off, there's Travolta trying to fuck. Like, oh,
You
jeez.
guys doing a Dutch rudder to each other.
What set off the tangent is on your recos to me. One of my favorite books you recommended to me was Fantastic Four Life Story, which was our 6th episode of the show. I love that story. I loved how the Fantastic Four aged in real time.
Thank you, comic book guy. It was episode 6 with
Episode
the
6.
But sorry.
Episode ever.
Because that one was a book that a lot of people didn't like. We actually really enjoyed it. We were like, am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
I actually think that book is better than this one because I think it's more focused, but I like this one more because
this is a love story.
It's such a love story to Spider-Man, and it's for guys like me who like this is.
You see a guy
like me who doesn't get laid and just reads Spider-Man comics, like
He might be gay.
genius like
Genius.
you.
The
Guy
book
like me.
The book is such a love letter to Peter Parker over the years. And what's cool is every decade reflects a big Spider-Man story from that decade. So in the 70s, you get Miles Warren and the death of Gwen Stacy. In the 80s, you get Kraven and the symbiote. And like even in the 2000s.
Was the death of Gwen in the 70s?
That was in the 70s.
That's crazy to me because I thought it happened in the 80s when comics got dark. But
that's what kicked off comics getting dark. It was they say the Silver Age of comics, which is this kind of like idealization of superheroes.
Can you break down the different ages of comics now that you say that? Because that's an interesting thing that it's been coming up a lot.
Brent has been waiting for that.
This is all he wants to tell you about.
It's a true Jewish miracle.
It's like, Jim, it's like the pre-stereo, it's like...
Me!
What are...
me!
It starts with Golden, right?
Yes.
That was 30s?
Golden is late 30s and 40s. So
which would be what comics?
That would be mainly DC, so Superman, Batman, Green Lantern.
Back when Batman was a boxer?
Exactly. Son of a boxer! And then we also get Captain America, the Human Torch android.
So Golden Age is what year to what year?
I would say Golden Age would almost be like 38 to 60.
And that's Kirby years?
That's Kirby, yes, because Kirby and Joe Simon created Captain America then.
Is that parallel with like Hollywood?
Yeah,
kind of film. Yeah,
exactly.
I was like,
Absolutely,
like
it's
the same
entertainment. Like after the Industrial Revolution, we finally had everything, and people needed something to sit and look at.
When the biggest stars in the world were Humphrey Bogart and a man who was just very wonderful in every film role he was in, Mr. Putner.
After Golden, is it bronze?
After Golden, it's silver.
Silver, and then what years is that?
So silver is basically.
And what stories too? If you could say list off any of these.
Definitely. So Silver Age is kind of in DC. It's characterized by kind of a silliness, like kind of similar to the Batman,
like 60s Batman,
exactly like 60s Batman. So like Batman in the 30s and 40s was dark. Batman in the 60s is very silly, like the TV show. Same with Superman and the DC characters. And then in Marvel, it's the introduction of the most iconic Marvel characters. So like, the Avengers, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and the X-Men.
Iron Man,
yeah.
And then after silver was bronze.
After silver is bronze. So I'd say silver is probably like
after gold
1960 to like mid to late 1970s after gold. Gold figure.
And what is Pirates Gold?
Pirates Gold is a
It's me booty.
It was all the Caribbean movies. Caribbean.
Yo, I'm like always looking for Pirates Gold.
Do you say Caribbean or Caribbean?
I say Caribbean.
I say Pirates of the Caribbean, but then if I'm like going on vacation to the Caribbean,
I say the same. Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah.
Like a liar.
it makes no sense.
This guy come from the universe where Troy's talking. I don't want to figure him out. It can get
Behind
weirder.
you, right? Yeah.
Dude,
Spider Pig.
not to like suck your dick, but your Mulaney is so fucking good.
Spider Pig. Spider Pig.
Shall we dive into the characters?
Yeah.
Give us the characters. Who
Let's
we
do
dealing
it.
with in Spider-Man Life Story?
We've got Peter Parker, Spider-Man. We know who he is, and he's aging in real time over the course of 6 decades. We've got Mary.
How old is he when this starts?
He is
15,
22.
right?
Well, 15 and 62, and then it cuts to 60. So he's 20 when it
So he's
starts.
15 when he gets bit by the spider.
Yes, and the scene with Flash at the bar, he's 20.
Yeah.
Oh, he's at the bar. At
Beautiful
20,
stuff. I loved
He's got
that
a fake
stuff.
ID.
I guess was it
Yo, I got a
18
fake
back
ID,
then?
no.
What?
I feel like the drinking age was 18.
It was 18 back then, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was
That's how they
there.
got guys to sign up for Vietnam.
Yeah, they're like, you guys are nice and liquored up. How about we take
You're
you
gonna
to
love
these
heroin
fuckers? You want to go where there's more drugs and alcohol?
and less
And
rules.
you can smoke inside, outside,
You
wherever.
can listen to as much John Fogerty as you want.
It ain't me.
It ain't me.
I know, prisoner son.
I ain't no hobgoblin son.
Next up, we have Mary Jane Watson, Peter's partner
Jane.
and eventual wife who supports him through the years. Mary
Peter's Parker.
Jane.
Peter's Parker.
Peter's
She
Parker.
is.
Gwen Stacy, Peter's first love, whose death becomes a defining tragedy. Norman Osborn, the Green
And
Goblin.
Mary's greatest triumph.
No one's talking about how Mary's behind it.
Mary, what happened with Gwen Stacy? They say she fell off a bridge and died. They found her in the water.
Allegedly.
I said that's a strange place to find a body.
It's
the
Gwen
water.
Stefani. Everybody knows it.
That's my shit. We love Gwen
There's
Stefani.
no doubt.
This is bananas.
My favorite food.
BANANJS. Bananas.
If I was a rich girl.
Shaka laka digga digga bee. Assalamu alaikum. What I like about this is it haunted him in every decade.
Yeah. What's great
Because
about
he's Spider-Man's villain.
he is. They basically picked 2 villains as the lifelong adversaries, him and Doc Ock. And that was the right call.
And
Yeah,
they
that was
handled
good with the
yeah,
Miles
they're-
Morales
the Miles Pat-
it.
beautiful.
Build to it.
Yeah, let's
Sorry,
yeah.
I
No,
forgot
I
we were
like
trying
it.
to do foreplay.
No, it's great because this was
how into it you
my problem with Miles and
Just gonna
how
look at your mouth, Brent.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
Flash Thompson, Peter's high school rival turned friend, whose death in Vietnam symbolizes the generational cost of
Can
war.
I say something about Flash Thompson?
Do it, baby.
When he beat him up in Spider-Man 1 with Toby. That's
Joe Manganiello.
Yeah, that's the day everyone finds out I'm Spider-Man. You ain't just gonna punch me.
No fucking
No.
way.
Everyone's finding out
Especially
that
by
day.
Flash, I feel like I don't know.
And come throw a pumpkin bomb at my aunt for it, pussy. If you got a problem with it.
Well, honestly, the movies, with the exception of the Amazing Spider-Man ones, they never get Flash right. Because Flash actually...
He's a good character.
He's a great character.
This one, you cry for Flash.
He's actually Peter's best friend.
And he's Agent Venom, right?
He's Agent Venom. He was Venom in
Spidey Big Time, yeah.
Flash has one of the best arcs because he is Peter's bully.
And he loves Spider-Man.
He loves
I
Spider-Man.
love that.
And you find out the reason he bullied Peter is because he was jealous of him, of his intelligence.
Oh, I thought it's because his dad went out to get a pack of cigarettes and never came back.
There's that, but Peter also...
There weren't vapes back then.
I think Flash's dad did come back. I think that was the issue. I think Flash's dad was abusive.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's a hard thing to deal with because then you got to fight him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you gotta give it all back.
That's the thing with
Doing
abusive
what you're
fathers.
talking
They hit.
They hit back.
Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man representing Peter's legacy.
Yeah, Peter, a black kid from the Bronx.
I'm still Spider from the block.
Don't be fooled by the docs that are ock. I'm still Peter from the block.
Reed Richards works with Dr. Octopus, a major antagonist who at one point works with Peter and Reed and marries May. He is an evolving sinister presence throughout the story.
Roses play at the wedding, dude.
Next up, Harry Osborn, Norman's conflicted son who ultimately redeems himself through sacrifice. Ben Reilly, Peter's clone who carries on as Spider-Man during
Andy
Peter's brief
Samberg.
retirement. Andy Samberg, that's right. Tony Stark, we know who he is, but he's a dipshit in this one. Like, there's nothing really else to say about Tony there. Moreland, I hate this.
There also, for the record,
Yeah.
is not much to ever say about Tony other than that Stanley created him for the purpose of being that.
Yeah, he was supposed to be
He's
Howard
supposed
Hughes.
yeah, exactly.
Who's a
He's
dipshit.
conflict-
Moreland, a devastating energy vampire. I've always hated Moreland as a
Me
character,
too.
but they got him right here.
He's terrifying.
Next up, who's next up? Our fucking boy, Kraven the Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
A foe obsessed with hunting Spidey, who bonds with the symbiote, becoming Venom in this world.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
Venom is really a 90s villain. He was introduced in 89, and the symbiote is a big role in the 80s, but yeah, Venom is really like a 90s character.
The
Okay,
coolest.
because I was confused about that.
What?
About it not being Eddie?
Yeah.
They wanted to streamline it, I think, in
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
I was
This
like,
is
why is-
how do we tell the whole story, and how do we give the person who deserves the symbiote most the symbiote, and that's why Craven got it.
Next up, Miles Warren, who is always such a fucking perv. The geneticist responsible for the traumatic cloning of Gwen and Peter.
Dude.
Miles.
I already knew the background of this.
Because of Big Time, right?
Yeah. So I was like, I was prepared for the scene, and I still wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So
Like,
now you know. Yeah.
And then
it's-
he doubled down, man. Like he was just like, I wanted her, and he had a whole plan.
He's the creepiest character. He's what I'm glad they included him because he's one of the most iconic Spider-Man villains, and he's never been adapted on the big screen.
Yeah, I feel like I've only read him.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
Like really? We got Sandman before we got Jackal.
street level Tom
Yeah.
Holland and make you don't need MJ anymore. I love Zendaya, but we don't need her anymore.
Madeline Klein is Gwen Stacy, baby.
Yeah, have
Who
Gwen
is?
have her be Gwen Stacy and then introduce Miles Warren because we can't introduce a Norman Osborn because we got him already in No Way Home. What are they gonna
And he's
do?
perfect.
He's gonna always be suspicious of him, and it was perfect. Now is the Miles Warren time with Wilson Fisk.
Wow, I love that idea. I love
Miles
it.
Warren
Those
for the
two,
first
yeah.
two, and Fisk by the third one. You realize has been bankrolling the Miles Warren experiments for so long. They won't hire me to write.
Kevin, listen to us. Last characters, Peter and MJ's kids, symbols of hope who inherit Peter's powers. Shall we start?
We shall.
Issue 1. So Peter gains his powers and struggles with the dual responsibilities of being Spidey and a young man in a tumultuous decade. Flash enlists in the Vietnam War, embodying the era's conflicting sense of duty and sacrifice. Peter fights to maintain his relationships with Gwen and Aunt May while confronting Norman Osborn as the Green Goblin.
Which is a constant theme of Peter Parker.
It's he's always
His
struggling to
greatest villain
balance
is
it.
himself.
Exactly.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just,
He'll
just-
never have his
it's-
shit together.
Never.
It stresses me
I
out.
know, because it's shit that we deal with. Chapter ends with Peter questioning his role. Can he balance his personal life and being a hero? Gwen finding out that he's Spider-Man, and Norman loses his memory.
She finds out at the bar, right?
She finds out at the train station.
Right, yeah. And what happens with Norman?
So Norman, and this was an iconic comic from the 60s. Peter fights Norman. Norman loses his memory, but Peter's
Goblin's still in him, though he's lost the memory.
And Peter's like, I can't just have this guy walking around, so he calls the police, and Norman gets arrested.
Yeah,
Talk
which
about like thinking you're going crazy, dude. Like, could you imagine? I have a little soft spot for him.
for Norman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
In the Spider-Man 2002 movie, when they take the company away from me, he's like, no, you can't do this to me. Do you know what I gave to this company?
Right.
You know, you look at it and you go, yeah, this is kind of fucked up that they're taking this from Norman. So he does what, it's like the whole going postal term, right? Like he,
And Norman though won't kill Spidey because he wants him to be his heir.
yep.
Yeah.
yeah, he's like, you're my son.
Yeah,
and he's
exactly.
like, you're nuts.
Norman also
Call
is,
me daddy.
he has,
Give your daddy a hug.
he has an obsession with Spider-Man because the spider that built him happened in his lab.
It's more of a paternal obsession, whereas Joker is almost like a
Yes.
psychosexual.
Lover.
But
Yeah,
but don't
exactly.
you think he's a little obsessed and envious that the spider he was creating was the one that bit him?
Yes, I mean, yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's it's certainly the most modern interpretation. It's just like, why did he get like this is my creation? Why do I turn into a giant demon?
And every time he's tried,
Yeah.
he's failed because he's missing the heart. It's I'm sorry, Zack Snyder.
Can you say that one more time? It's not the what that makes you a hero.
Could you say it one more time?
Yes, it's not the power that makes you the hero.
It's the Robert Wagner also being on the boat, and
It's the arrhythmia that you have that's going to kill you.
I carried this power in my ass for 5 days.
Yes. Frankly, I have to say this power is pretty good, but
My
it
name-
can use.
My name's not Frank, but I'll let you call me it.
Excuse me, how about?
Frankie.
Was it? What are we at? 70s?
We're in the 70s, baby.
Oh, 80s is my favorite
So-
book.
80s was my favorite book.
I love 80s.
They specifically focused on one aspect of his story for each decade.
They focused on
and-
what the story was in that decade.
like the main highlight. I
Yes.
guess.
Exactly. So the
Okay.
main highlight of the 60s was Vietnam
Yeah, I was
and
curious.
Norman Osborn.
Okay. So
70s
they're-
was Miles Warren and Gwen Stacy.
got
And
it.
those were the issues that were on the rack in those days. Did I just move it again?
Yeah, it's okay. It looks fine. Yeah, it's. I was just curious.
That's why these light
which-
stores are so great.
Mm-hmm.
They're awesome. I was just curious what made them pick each moment to kind of
They
expand
picked the
on.
best.
Yeah, I think
Just-
I think Chip Zdarsky has such a love for Spider-Man. I think that's also why he picked Mark Bagley as
Has
the
he
artist.
written any of the Spider-Man?
I don't know, honestly. I think he's written Daredevil, but I don't know what. Other
That's our
stories-
Spider-Man. Clock out. I'll see you next week.
He just selected the crowd pleasers are the ones that are most integral to Spider-Man, or both, I guess.
There's
The
no
both.
difference
Yeah.
because if you're a Spider-Man fan, you read
You like
every
it all.
Spider-Man comic,
Yeah.
and that's why there's so much hate for so many Spider-Man writers, because when someone does something different with their character, they pretend that it's their character that they just ruined. And I once heard Dan Slott say, I understand that hate, because if you live a just life, and your one good part of your week is the Big Mac on Wednesdays, and then all of a sudden they changed your Big Mac into a quarter pounder with cheese, you're going to be kind of pissed that that's not your Big Mac anymore. And you look back, and he was comparing that to Superior Spider-Man, and you look back at that now, everybody wants more Superior Spider-Man. You and I remember when everyone hated that character.
It felt so derivative from Craven.
Yes, yeah, but also they did it in a way that I almost
great.
said Norman Otto.
Yeah.
Otto learned something about humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Peter learned something about it's another great power, great responsibility thing. And I think that's the beauty of writing a character like this, where Spider-Man is probably the biggest everyman superhero.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you look at Batman, everybody wants to be Batman, but because he has no powers, so he seems the most attainable, but nobody has that vast wealth. Iron Man is less attainable.
That's a power in itself.
That's a power in
we
itself.
see it every
But
day.
you look at Tony Stark, who has that amounts that
he has
vast
both
amount of
kind
wealth,
of-
but
he built
he's
his
he's
power,
one
but-
of the smartest people on the planet. Like he's a contemporary of Reed Richards.
No one wants to be Daredevil.
No, because they
Who wants to be blind?
The blind
except
guy.
Danny Rand.
Yeah, he's a blind guy that goes to church all the time. That's true. Danny's like, this sounds great. Next up is the 70s. So Peter is married to Gwen while working with Reed and Otto. Peter discovers that Miles Warren has been conducting cloning experiments, cloning Norman, Peter, who's Ben Reilly, and even creating a clone of Gwen due to his perverse obsession with her. Norman is revealed to be Warren's benefactor, and he's
I read Miles Warren's voice as Jordan Peterson in this. No, you can't take her. I have her cloned.
honestly, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
He's, I forget about spiders. We have to structure this around lobsters.
12 rules of cloning.
Here are the 12 rules of great power and
10
great responsibility. Rule 11
10
is
things I hate about cloning.
about cloning and postmodernism.
But yes, Norman is Warren's benefactor who's regained his memories. He manipulates events from prison. And
Norman regained his memories.
Exactly, and he uses his regained memories to also manipulate Harry, who under his father's influence accidentally kills the real Gwen during a confrontation with Warren, because Harry thinks he's taking out the clone, but Warren switched the clone and the real
So
Gwen.
Harry's the one that
Classic.
kills Gwen in this.
Yeah,
and
unintentionally.
it's Goblin who intentionally. Well, I don't know if he had the intentions to kill her initially, but I mean, he threw off a bridge.
Goblin had didn't want Gwen to be a part of this. In this story, it's all Warren. Goblin's
Yeah.
like, clone me, clone Peter, and Warren's like, and I'll clone Gwen too. And Norman's like, why?
Listen, baby.
Yeah, no
I
one
don't care
else.
what you do on your free time, but just make sure you do these two things. And gosh,
Would you clone someone if you had the power to?
Would I? Absolutely not. I think it's so unethical.
Well, yeah.
it is because you can't clone a person. You can clone a person, but you can't clone humanity.
Yeah. Yo, I mean, like, if you could, like, save me that, like, Norman and Peter clone, that'd be great. But that Gwen clone,
like,
yucky.
I don't even need that. If you give me the Glenn clone, just
disgusting. That blonde woman clone, I'm, like, not into that.
But I like the hole. Like,
the hole was great. It's just if that hole looked like a penis, that'd be very cool.
Don't tell me more. Don't tell me more. Like, did she have a cock?
Yo, like if she had a cock, I think I'd be into the cock part,
like,
but
hey.
not the rest of it. Who am I, Eddie Murphy?
Listen, Shrek. First of all, I'm giving Gwen Stacy a ride home at night. That's all we were doing. And then she had a dick. So I said, I'm going to help you out. I know a good place to get your dick.
Wait, did I say dick?
This is all getting cut out. This is all getting cut out.
Yeah, that started getting into the transgender.
Also, no Kirby tier for this episode because of the sketches we're going to do.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Meanwhile, Flash dies. Meanwhile, Flash dies in Vietnam, which is a loss that deeply.
Meanwhile, in the Legion of Doom,
it's a loss that deeply affects Peter and reminds him of the sacrifices others have made. By the issue's end, Ben Reilly seeks to make a life for himself, while Peter mourns Gwen's death and grows closer to MJ.
But they also did the "You're the clone, you're the clone, you're the clone, you're the clone."
They do that in the 90s.
And that's why I'm saying, like, I should have said that. But, like, in this, they did it so it wasn't dick teasing you, so you'd have to buy another issue next month.
Yeah, and they also immediately go, okay, this was stupid. We know Peter was the real
one. Yeah, because it's a good story if you take out the what's a show that ran way longer than it had to because it didn't Lost or Walking Dead. If you take out include these mysteries just to include them so people will keep watching next week. Mm-hmm. This is the best way to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, because with those, you could like feel it just like being made up as you're watching it.
Yeah. J.J. Abrams, his thing.
J.J. Abrams
his writing,
on the keyboard.
I love asking questions that never get answered. That's my J.J. Abrams.
That was good.
That was good.
Thank
Round
you.
of applause.
Don't patronize me.
Sorry. Issue 3 of the 80s. Peter is married MJ, who is pregnant and gives birth to twins. Peter bonds with the alien symbiote from Secret Wars.
Peter's shooting web from both ends.
I want a boy and a girl.
Like, oh my God. Which amplifies his powers but also darkens his psyche. Craven enacts his last hunt, shooting Peter and burying him alive before taking over as Spider-Man. Peter escapes and confronts Craven, but stops short of killing him, ultimately purging himself of the symbiote. As Craven prepares to take his own life, the symbiote bonds with him instead, transforming him into Venom.
Nice. This is issue 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, right in the beginning, that huge war scene that's like double page.
Secret Wars.
Yeah, that was so good. Mm-hmm. I looked at that for a while. It was kind of like one of those I Spy books, you know, and then you like finally see all the other pieces and how it all works together.
It shows how good Secret Wars would have been if it was just 2 pages.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's funny because I get it.
Yeah.
Also, I was telling him earlier when I was reading it, I was like, dude, this is so crazy because they like drop like a little Doom line in there with Reed Richards. And I was like, I know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because usually I'd read these and I'd be like, what the fuck is that? Anyway. And now I'm like, oh, it's all interconnected.
Well, it kind of it's not the same universe as FF Life Story, but it kind of lines up perfectly with it.
Yeah, there's like... there's just outer mentions of stuff.
You knew the context of the insult.
Yeah, like I understood
because you read the books of Doom.
I finally got it.
You got it.
But it clicked, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, I know what they're talking about.
Well, you've kind of fallen ass backwards into reading a shit ton of comics this year.
Yeah, and now I'm just like, who am I?
You've like become a comic nerd. What have I become?
I was a nerd in training. I think in the new year, I'll get my, what comes after white belt?
Yellow belt.
Yellow belt? Okay. Do you think I'm yellow? Maybe green? Maybe a little green goblin?
No, you're
green.
yellow.
Green is high up? Or is that
Green's above yellow. You're not above yellow.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm just on step 2.
Want me to give you a green belt tuft right now?
I mean, the fact that you know who Ben Urich is pretty...
I'm a reporter.
That's not green belt worthy. Yeah. I'll give you a yellow... I can probably green belt right now. I'll ask you a question.
I'm probably not going to know it, but sure.
Where does Spider-Man live?
Queens.
Yeah.
What part of Queens?
Did they say?
They don't say in this.
Yeah.
In this, but...
Yeah.
Oh, in the regular ones?
Just every other Spider-Man issue ever.
Where in Queens? Forest Hills.
Wow.
All right, you have your green belt.
Shit.
You have your green belt.
You earned your green belt.
You
with
just
that.
got promoted. Wow.
Air five.
Holy
Thank
shit.
you.
That was very
wow,
impressive.
that like came up too.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I said it before it came out.
That
like,
was excellent.
That was. Look at our daughters grown up.
I'm getting self-acclaimed.
No more training to require.
Dad.
Oh my God.
Slater has earned her
So
green belt on this
emotional.
episode.
Oh my gosh, it's a Christmas miracle. And a Hanukkah one.
That was fucking awesome.
I'm just seeing if I was recording. That was so good.
That was, oh my God.
I'm surprised by myself.
That was, wow, I can't believe you got that.
I know, me
It was
too.
outstanding.
And I looked down because like I have notes, but I didn't say
No,
any of
you
that
didn't
in
touch
there.
your phone.
And I was just like,
First day
hang
first,
on.
rest in peace, Uncle Ben.
It was like, that's so Raven. And I look into the future, and I was like, Forest Hills. But I went to the past.
You looked at the future, you're like, I'm not going to have a career after Disney.
That's so spider. Yeah.
What's Raven Simone going to do to me?
Oh, Lord.
Not happy on The View. I don't even think she's on it anymore.
I don't think so either. But
Yeah.
that was exciting to see it all connected to the bigger story.
This is the best issue because I've said before the 80s are my favorite era of Spider-Man, and like I loved again that they picked the two stories that were most important to the 80s because there's a lot of stuff that went on in the 80s, Hobgoblin, Gang War, but they're like, you know what? Most important storylines of the 80s: Kraven's Last Hunt, Black Suit.
Yep.
Yeah. Those sound like pornos. Hobgoblin, Game War, Gang War. It's a lot.
Pog Hunter.
Spider-Man Far From Home.
Get me home, please. Help me, somebody. I like that they threw in Thor for a quick second, too. That was nice.
Oh, and who else did they throw in the 80s? Oh boy, I almost forgot about this cameo.
Oh, wait. Who else was in it? It was him and someone else standing there,
This
right?
is such a wild cameo by Mark Bagley because it's the 80s, and what happens in the 80s?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Watchmen was written in the 80s. And
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Rorschach.
Rorschach.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the sign.
What the
I saw
Yeah.
that.
Shit.
That was so
Oh
great.
my God, he just puts Rorschach in there.
A
saw
DC
that.
character.
I wrote that down in my notes, too. I was like, nice little Rorschach
Right?
cameo with the sign.
Oh, so you picked up on that on your
Yeah,
own.
yeah. The end is nigh.
The end is nigh, and they could have just had the end is nigh, and that would have been a fun Watchmen reference. And the fact that they actually put Walter Kovacs in there,
Mwah.
Oh,
I was
so-
so happy about it.
'cause it's an
I was like, I
Ellsworth-
know that guy too.
Right?
I know him.
and Bagley's
I
like,
know him.
Bagley's like Tarantino. He's like, fuck you.
Rorschach! I know him. I know him.
He was the best.
This is one of my favorite cameos in a comic.
This was incredible.
That was good.
This was akin to Wolverine being in X-Men First Class, where
Yeah.
they walked up to me and went, "Go fuck yourself."
Oh, that's a great cameo.
so good. Also, why is Thor's text always like medieval?
Because he's Asgardian.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they always do that. Every
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I started like reading and I was like, is this Thor? Because I was zoomed in.
Daddy
I was like,
Thor.
Ooh, look at that.
Got that thing on him.
Got that thing on him.
Is that's the end of 80s,
That's
right?
the 80s.
And then
Yeah.
90s
Well,
we
'cause
get
that was the end where he was gonna
yeah.
unalive himself.
Right.
That panel right before.
Which
Kraven
panel?
That was so. That
Venom,
was the first.
who-
That was the first. Yeah, exactly. That was the first episode we ever did of Secret. Was Kraven's Last Hunt, which ends with Kraven unaliving
Killing himself.
Yeah. And in this, instead of before he can pull the trigger, the suit comes up.
In Kraven's
he
Last Hunt,
grabs-
Kraven has cancer, and he goes.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Well, actually, that's the crazy thing. He doesn't in Kraven's Last Hunt, but you brought that up on our episode, and then he does in this.
Yeah, he does.
So I was like,
Stage
because I
4.
remember when you brought that up, I was like, because you said you're like, oh, I kind of think he has cancer here, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I never read it as that. And then I read this, I was like, oh, him having cancer makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, 90s.
90s. 90s. Peter's running the successful company Parker Industries. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Otto captures both Peter and Ben Reilly, forcing Harry Osborn to assist him in creating a new body. Harry sacrifices himself to save Peter from Otto, leading Norman Osborn to reveal his manipulative role in the events before dying of a heart attack upon hearing of Harry's death, because he's a shitty dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was karma coming back swift.
That's a great scene, too, when
That
Peter, he's just like such wasted potential.
He's like, you had a son who loved you. I love how that's the driving force that makes him
When
like,
Peter
go
sang that
home
to
and then
Norman?
and
Yeah.
then see his own son. I was like, oh,
And
that
as
was
he's
a
dying,
tearjerker.
what does Norman say? He goes, I hate you. He's such an evil, petty, pathetic person.
I think he just hates him because of how Peter can still be so good despite the demons he has, which is something Norman's never
He just
been
can't
able
do
to
it.
do.
It's a
yeah.
great point. And Peter at this point, this is the 90s, this is 40 years of this, and Peter's just like, I'm done, man. Because not only is he dealing with Norman and Harry's death and all this other stuff, Tony is trying to take over his company because Tony's a dipshit.
Well, it's also just like, how much can you sacrifice your whole freaking life before you're allowed to fucking have a little time off and be with your family? You know what I mean?
And he doesn't even have them. They left. He's
That's
he's
Peter's
Jessica
thing.
Jones.
Like, he missed the birth. Like, he fucking...
Shut up.
My man.
Yeah, shut up, Peter.
Yeah.
He watched Breaking Bad, same as the rest of
Clapping
us.
those alias butt cheeks.
Yeah.
But it's just like his whole life, he's always battling like what his like priorities should be. And I'm like, you know what? He's getting old. It's like someone else come in, a young new guy. You
That's
know?
why I love this
And-
story. You see the job age with him.
Yeah.
And he basically says, he goes, if only I had a clone that looked exactly like me and had my intelligence. Oh, wait, Ben.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, Ben is just like, I've been living in anonymity. I want this life. And Peter's like, take it.
Yeah,
You
he's
be
like,
Peter.
it's yours, bitch.
Yeah.
Fucking gladly give it to you.
And I love how this arc ends with Ben basically becoming Peter Parker, taking over Parker Industries, taking over Spider-Man. Peter's
Ruins
like,
his credit.
yeah, he ruins his credit.
Yeah, he spends all the loans, fucking taxes, everything.
Why
He's
is he
like,
buying so much shit at Hot Topic?
Ben,
Because it was the...
why are you goth again? We
There's
never
going to be a band
decided
called
this.
My Chemical Romance after 9/11. Just listen. Just wait.
When I was
My Benical Romance
my father,
once told me.
he took me to the city to see the Black Parade.
I hate marching band.
Hate him, they're loud. Peter retires at the end of the issue.
Ow!
Oh, loud. So carry on.
The fact. It's just like a little fairy dusting sound.
Oh, I thought I hit the...
Rachel!
Oh, wait.
You hit the
No, you
powwow.
hit the powwow one. Right?
Oh, I did,
was just
okay.
testing the other
He was
buttons.
just whenever Brent touches, that's what the sound makes. Little
Unlike
fairy
when he hits
whistles.
the clit.
And then it's like, that's my butt.
What in the
More like my butt. Put a clit in your butt. I said, put a bubble bee in your butt. I say, put Dr. Ock in your butt. I say, put Miles Warren in your butt. Everybody.
2000s. So Ben.
Yeah, I'm a spider.
Ben Riley.
I am Electro. Do you have electricity? Electricity for my bunghole?
2000s.
Settle down, Peter.
baby?
You
You did nothing to stop 9/11, Peter.
They actually, but in this one, they actually show
Yeah.
which is nice revisionist history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2000s, Ben Riley's was Spider-Man, and now he's not. Moreland kills him. The fun while it lasted.
Yeah. It was sad to watch Ben have that because like he's such a tragic character but it's like how I felt about Kylo Ren killing Han Solo. You had to have that like moment to show this guy's a badass and he will do this. It was hard to watch Ben Riley die, but it was very, very good way to introduce the dangers of Moreland, because Moreland's whole thing is he feeds off of spider people, right?
Yeah, there's like a spider totem, and he's an energy vampire.
Yeah.
but not as great. as
So is my mother-in-law.
Yeah, where's Colin Robinson?
He's curious. He's charismatic.
Everyone should be watching What We Do in the Shadows. That show's amazing.
It's so good.
It's so good.
The movie was great.
The movie's great. I think the show's even better.
Yeah.
This show is much better.
Yeah, because they were just allowed to expand and they brought new characters.
Oh,
in
dude,
and-
Laszlo's the best character ever.
Oh, it's so funny.
Laszlo Kravensworth.
Yeah.
But yeah, so because Peter's trying to have his cake and eat it too, and by having Ben be Spider-Man,
Well,
he's with his
nobody
family.
likes freaking cake. What's the point of having cake if you can't eat it? Wise words of a fallen hero.
Who's the hero?
Huh?
Who's the fallen hero?
No, that's Jay-Z.
Oh, did
Right?
Jay-Z say that?
What's the point of having cake if I can't eat it? Right? Yeah.
Yeah, the only rapper I listen to is Hoodie Allen
Oh my god.
and Lil Dicky.
Because he
Jewish.
sees himself in both of them.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So the superhero civil war erupts, pitting Peter and Captain America against Tony Stark in an ideological clash over hero registration. So while Peter's fighting Tony, Peter's children have to defeat Moreland, which they do, and they showcase their strength. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive.
This is also a different age Peter than the one that went through Civil War too,
Yeah,
which I
this
thought
is a
was
much
very
older Peter.
interesting.
I just love your excitement in it as
Which
you
I
read
do.
it. And
They do.
It was a
What?
high octave.
I liked how they beat him. Like, the son is like, hey, I'm going to sacrifice my spider powers so my sister can kill him.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
It was cool.
Give her some light, you know?
And the issue really concludes with Peter embracing his role as father and mentor, but he's also reflecting on the enduring legacy, and he tells Cap, he's like, hey, our time is coming to an end. We just got to leave the world better off than it was.
How we found it,
exactly.
yeah.
Yes, to the next generation.
And then that's why we get Miles next.
That's why we get Miles next in the 2010s.
And that's what he says in there, too, right? He's like, I used to have to help the world now.
He says to Cap, he's like, we're both old men now. Like, our time is kind of coming to an end.
It's time for us to run for president.
If only Tony wasn't such a dipshit and didn't cause a civil war.
Yeah, that's what happens when your character's based off of the military-industrial complex.
Fair point. And so issue 6, we don't see him, but of course, Dr. Doom threatens to take over the world because he's Doom, following the fallout from Civil War. So Peter is the one leading the resistance against Doom as he and Miles take over a space station to stop him. Peter finally defeats Kraven, who's in the space station.
That's no moon. That's a space station.
That's one small step for Spider-Man.
Of course I know.
One huge step
Of course
for the
I know
next
Doom.
generation.
Of course I know him. He's Kraven.
Me. Of course I know him. He's Crave. I haven't gone by the name of Peter Parker since well before 9/11.
I was looking at our first episode of Kraven's Last Hunt, and I was looking at the comments, and there was one comment that was like, White Castle can't miss out on the Kraven movie to do a Kraven Crave case. So I was like, that comment's amazing. And I looked at who made the comment.
Fred Skull.
Will Diamond.
Oh.
It was before. So Peter defeats Kraven in the station, and he confronts Otto, who's really manipulated events to secure his superiority as Spider-Man, because Otto's plan is he wants to kill Peter, and he wants to be the one to stop Doom. So Octavius transfers his consciousness into Miles Morales' body, temporarily succeeding in his plans. This is a cool subversion of that story arc.
Because he did blackface.
That is true. That is a good point. He does do that. So Otto, in addition to being a villain, is also a problematic racist.
He's got a lot to work on.
But I did like the subversion of him taking over Miles Morales.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah,
he's like, why would I take over you? You're fucking
You're done.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that at first, and then until he called him Parker.
Yes.
And I was like, that's a little.
And his giveaway was he called Kraven Sergey, and he's like, why would you call him by his first name unless?
And he called Miles his dad. What the hell are you doing in this neighborhood?
Call me by my name,
boy. All right, I'll cut that out. You got uncomfortable with that
We can only respond in a certain way to that.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I was telling him earlier the little Return of the Jedi shout out in there, little dancing Ewoks.
Yeah.
And then he was like talking about how hard his life's been or whatever.
And that's what's great about this. Peter makes a sacrifice play. He stops the world from doom, and he ensures Miles reclaims his identity. And Otto's kind of left to rot as a shell of himself. And Miles tells him, he goes, I'm not going to kill you. I want to kill you for what you did. He goes, but Peter's the real hero, and the world knows that, and Peter wouldn't kill you, so I'm not going to kill you. And the series really ends with Miles continuing the Spider-Man legacy, representing hope for the future.
Yeah, and him finally having a good dream about Ben. That was nice.
About Uncle Ben.
Yeah, Uncle Ben. Gotta specify it. A lot of Bens, a lot of Benjis. A lot of Benjamin Franklins. That
is true. There's Ben Parker, there's his son Benji, and then there's Ben Reilly.
And then there's Ben Urich.
The reporter.
Yeah.
Is he in this? I don't think he's in this.
He's not. He's not. Yeah. I looked, trust me. I was like, where
he would
is
have
my
told
boy?
you.
Yeah.
This is the Bentastic
Hi,
book.
I'm a reporter.
And God, what I love so much about this book is, in addition to it being such a love letter to Spider-Man, is I've said before, Mark Bagley is by far my favorite Spider-Man artist. So I'm seeing these iconic Spider-Man events drawn by my favorite Spider-Man artist. I'm seeing Kraven's Last Hunt drawn by Mark Bagley.
It's everything you could have asked for and more.
And more.
Dude, the covers were sick too. I like the solid color. With the it's almost like paint or charcoal kind of.
And the alternative covers too.
They're sick. Is that how they were in there?
This one I love by Greg Smallwood, who's another great artist, who's the artist.
That's a great cover.
That's
such
sick.
a good cover, so 60s iconic, and he's the artist on The Human Target, which is coming up for us in Secret Identity.
Ooh, we're coming for you, Target. Get your shopping done.
Oh, you're going to like Chris Chance later.
Yeah?
He's the daddy of all
no
daddies.
No chance I'm not. I'm going to like him.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
I'm going to love him, man.
Brent's Warehouse.
Brent's Warehouse, yeah. Just come to the basement. We have more sales down here.
Yeah. But yes, this story was outstanding. This was a great recommendation. Troy, how did you find this?
The dark web.
Midtown Comics Astoria. I just found it. It ripped. It fell off the shelf. I'll buy anything Spider-Man, and it popped out to me, and I read it, and I read it for a straight week, and then I gave it to everybody that I knew that was a Spider-Man fan because I am someone who loves to show people the nerd stuff that I like, but nerd stuff could be very dense, and it's also not going to have the same impact on them that it did to me, or at least when I experienced it. So like I always wish that there was like a beginning to end syllabus of something that I could show people, and it would include the key points and the gist of something. And Life Story always stood out to me because that's what it is. It really is nothing more than a love letter to Spider-Man,
which is amazing.
That's what I loved about it. What were your takes on it?
I like the era breakdown.
Yeah,
you know, it's taking the best of
loved
each one.
that. Yeah,
I'm a sucker for like.
I think they should do that for every staple hero. They should do a life story.
They should do its own segment of those. Yeah,
they've done it twice, and it's been amazing both times.
Yeah, it's amazing. They've only done it twice because comics have been around. Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay.
And comics have been around for so many years, and there's always a new fan base going into it who don't know a lot about a character, and you read something like this, you go, okay, I have a grasp now. Well, now I can read whatever.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, even from a selling standpoint.
Yeah.
Like, if people who aren't as, like, engulfed in it as we all three now are.
Yeah.
Miss Forest Hills.
To read, yes. Oh.
Greenbelt.
Where's my stash? But it's a nice cast of the whole thing, and then if you want to dive into whatever one, you kind of know where to look. Maybe it's almost like a little beginner's manual too, you know what I mean? They should do that with a bunch of stuff, but for this one I really liked it because I'm a sucker for like nostalgic stuff. You know me, I'm 100, so the 60s were nice, and I just like the simplicity of those eras though.
Totally.
And like how the challenges progress as the times progressed, and the enemies and the battles were different according to that like timeline, you know, which is also a relatable thing in life.
Yeah, and how like the more things change, the more things stay the same. How like Vietnam was such a conflicted time, and Peter's like asking Flash, why are you enlisting? And he's seeing Tony commit these war crimes while Cat is actually on the side of a lot of the natives of Vietnam. And then we're seeing that recreate itself in the Civil War in the 2000s.
Dude, yeah, history keeps repeating itself, and we're just, I don't know, too
doomed
dumb
to repeat it, will you say?
Yeah, too dumb to stop it.
Those who do not study history
are doomed
will
to
be
repeat
doomed.
Doom.
Of course they had to shoehorn fucking Doom in this too. It's just like, of course Doom is the one trying to take over the world. Yeah. And I loved it because I love Doom.
Great spaceship, love his toys. He's great. I'm like, yeah, he is cool. I like him.
I would have loved to see Doom just like pop up on the screen though.
Yeah, right. He's just like, hey, where are we going?
Every MCU movie, he would, and the post-credit title would be, Dr. Doom will appear in Spider-Man Life Story 2. Afterlife.
Afterlife.
Loved this book. And I hope you true believers did as well. When did
it come out?
2019.
So that's what it was up to when it said 2019. Okay. I was like, weirdly specific. Sorry.
The threads have bonded to my nose scar.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So hold on, we should do a sign off and then we'll be good. I love this book. I love any book that I recommend to Brent and he goes, oh man, that was great. I love it. Thank you so much. Brent's the closest thing I've ever had to a second closest thing I've ever had to a Jewish father. First thing is his father. With great power comes great responsibility. To subscribe to Kirby Tier, because right after this you're going to hear us talk all things Spider-Man with your Q&A, and you'll see some fun sketches. We've had one in the oven. Until next time, Excelsior, true believers. I'm Troy Bond.
I'm Brent Birnbaum.
I'm Slater Harrison.
Oh, you talking to me? Huh? Huh? You got great responsibility? Huh? I don't see anybody else here. Huh? You talking to me? Huh?